Hey gang, Kai and Ted here with you from Exped, and we want to talk to you about the subtleties of adjusting our packs that use the T-Rex frame, like the Lightning that I have on. But I'm going to stop you right here and ask you, if you haven't seen the first installment of this video series where we talk about general pack fitting, go watch that first. Don't watch this one first or we'll know. Now, why do we want you to watch that one first is because 90% of the people that use one of these packs will be comfortable with the frame bends and the adjustments that we talk about there. So 90% of the time, 90% of the people are going to be great with that. This video is all about micro adjustments. So with that said, let me get something straight. Your mother told you that this is good posture, right, Ted? This is not good posture with a pack on. So what we're going to be talking about is trail posture. And trail posture is this. You're going to have a bit of a hunched back. You're going to be leaning forward. And why is that? Because you've got a bunch of weight on your back that needs to get centered out and balanced over your feet again. So we're going to be talking, whenever Ted's talking to you here in a second, about fitting the frame to your body. We're talking about trail posture. So I'm going to turn you over to Ted, and he's going to get into the details. Ted?
Thanks. When it comes to the bends that we like to do, adjusting the frame, like Kai was saying earlier, after you've done 2-3 weeks of backpacking, you know the subtleties of your pack, the foam is broken in, your body's broken in. If there's some subtle changes that need to be made at that point in time, these are the areas where you're going to be doing that. And there are basically 3 primary bends that we work on. The first one has to do with the primary curvature of your back. I'm actually going to show you on Kai's body right here. In this case, the pack fits Kai perfectly, but what you do is you go ahead and feel right along the back, and you can see space-wise between the stay and the vertebra if there's any kind of a contact point that causes issues. Again, in Kai's case, there's nothing going on there, but if you found a pressure point and you need to deal with that, what you want to do is go ahead, mark that point, grab the pack at that particular point, and then make a modification. So you're going to want to identify where that is, and then go ahead and transfer it over here. Now that bend is easy to do, and I will also point out that the bends that you do in a stay are way more subtle than you think they are. You probably won't even be able to see them. So if I had marked that particular point at which there was any contact between the vertebra and the stay, I'd go ahead and identify it here. I'll use my leg as the bending platen right there, lay that down on my leg, and then just very subtly give it a little tweak like so. Again, if you feel the bend, you're probably bending more than you need to. And all I'm doing is adding a little more curvature at a particular point along the stay to accommodate whatever scenario that you might be experiencing right there, modifying that. That's bend number 1. The other bends we're going to talk about are over in this area. In some cases, people want to wear a helmet or have a big hat, or they might just, because of the location of the stay, they might have some interference with their head. And that modification can be accommodated for right here in this particular bend, the very top. By adding a little bit of a bend there, you can give yourself a little more head space. That's easy to do. The other bend that we'll talk about is down in the lumbar area, and I'll show that to you when we pull the stay out. So let's go back to the pack that I have down here, where you can see the bends actually occurring. The way that you get access to the stay is opening up the lumbar pad. And let me back up 1 second. Before I actually pull the stay out, I've spent all the time that you saw in the first video adjusting the torso length of the pack and getting that just right. And I want to make sure I know where that is when I put the pack back together. So, show you 2 incredibly handy tools that you might want to have. A piece of cardboard for your dining room table, and a pen so that you can mark the location. Assuming I had dialed in where this shoulder harness should be, and I should have that noted, I take a pen and I just go ahead and mark the stay right across there so I know what's going on. That way when I reassemble the pack, I've got it all in position. You can see that lined up. Now, peel up the lumbar pad, reach down underneath here, and you'll see that the stay mounts at the very bottom of the hip belt. And I want to pull that all out, just like so. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the whole stay and pull it out through the shoulder harness and through the support stay in the back of the pack, or I should say support tunnel. Now you can see the actual the actual frame or the stay that runs right through the core of the pack. This is what transfers your weight from your shoulders down to your hips. It's important to note that there are two bends right there, two primary bends. There's the one down at the lumbar, right down here. There's the bend along the vertebra, and then there's the one at the very top that gives you the head space. By tweaking this right here, I'll show you how to do that. Take the cardboard so you're not hurting the table, lay that down. By taking that and applying just a little bit of pressure, just a little bit like that, I can get myself just a little more space so I have a little more helmet room. Let me go ahead and line that up with what Kai's got going on so you can see how that's positioned in the back right there. That's where the stay fits right here. If I tweak this, I'm going to give myself a little more headroom so I can bend that back. That's perfectly fine to do. This was the first bend that we did through the stay to keep the vertebra out of the way. And then the bottom one, which you very, very seldom do, can give you a little more articulation in the lumbar. I'm going to talk about that a little bit further. When I lay this back down to put the stay back into the pack, it's important that I align this properly. Obviously, if I turn it around this way, I'm going to have a radically different fit. In fact, I dare say a very bad fit. So we're going to want to make sure that we go ahead and make sure this arc is in the proper direction right here so that the stay is bent away from the head and gives you lumbar space. Peel the whole pack back, slide the stay through the tunnel along the pack body. I'm going to want to make sure that I put the stay through the back of the shoulder harness, like so. Pop that in, and then mount it right into the T at the top. Slide the whole stay forward, give it a nice firm push, and then at the bottom of the the bottom of the hip belt, I'm going to want to seat the stay right back in, and that just pops in like so. Give a good snug pull, wrap the lumbar pad in position. And then I would go ahead and make sure the shoulder harness is in the correct place, tension it back in. Now the shoulder harness is back where it needs to be. Real quickly, the lower lumbar area, before I make any bends in there, again, get time on the trail. This is a very, very subtle bend that most people never, ever need to touch. But you want to go out and use it on the trail because you've got a big pad in there, you've already got a pre-bend in the location, and you want this to break in comfortably. With all those pieces and parts put into place, you're going to get a lot of good miles out on the trail with the T-Rex frame. And if you can see what we've got going on with Kai right here, again, we've modified the three primary bends. One right along the back, so the vertebra is free and clear of the stay. One at the top there for a little more head space. And again, very occasionally, you may have something going on down here at the lumbar. We can give you a little bit more articulation. Those are the three primary bends that should make this pack really, really comfortable.
So yeah,